Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Welcome back to another amazing show, Ways to Supercharge Your Ramadan Through Nutrition. Alhamdulillah, we've got another exciting recipe for you to follow, which is going to give you sustenance throughout the blessed month, inshallah. Sister Sakina, what are we cooking this today?
So we are doing oven-baked chicken kebabs.
Oven-baked chicken kebabs.
Yeah.
Sounds delicious already.
Yeah, and I think, during Ramadan, we tend to go for a lot of fried food. And this is an alternative without that much oil. Very minimal oil is going to be used, and they taste delicious as well.
Excellent. Okay, so let's talk through the ingredients, because we've got an array of ingredients here.
Yeah.
Where should we start?
So we have the oil. We try to go for unsaturated fats when we're cooking. So things like olive oil, rapeseed oil, sunflower oil are great cooking oils to cook with on a regular basis.
Yes.
Unsaturated fats are really good for your heart health, really good generally for your health as well. We want to try to steer away from saturated fats, so things like ghee, butter, coconut oil.
Okay.
You can cook with them on occasion, and that's absolutely okay, but for sort of general day-to-day cooking oils, it should be sort of an unsaturated fat.
So rapeseed oil, that kind of thing.
Yes, exactly. So we're going to use just a little bit just on the tray itself, just to put some on the bottom, so that the kebabs don't stick.
Okay.
And then we have an array of spices.
Yes, what have we got there?
So we have some chili powder. Are you a chili eater?
Yes.
Okay, brilliant. We're going to put a little bit of that.
Lovely.
We're going to put some salt in. Often I know people think, oh, you're a nutritionist, like you're not, why are you going to use salt?
Yeah.
But actually, sometimes we can use salt in our food, and it's okay, but it's just being mindful of how much we're consuming. So on average, the maximum allowance for an adult is 6 grams of salt per day, and that's around a teaspoon.
Okay.
So we have to be mindful of how much we're putting in, and we're going to put in a little bit to give it that flavour, but we're going to be using a lot more spices to enhance that flavour a little bit more. And plus, the spices will also contribute towards your plant points.
Oh.
So, we spoke about this in an earlier show as well, about plant points and what they're good for. So we need to be supporting our gut microbiome, our gut, and, making sure that that's healthy, because our gut is related to and connected to our brain, our skin, our metabolism, and we need to make sure that we are feeding our good bugs, plant points to then help, support our health.
Amazing.
So one plant equals one plant point. So a plant could be whole grains, it could be fruits and vegetables, it could be lentils and pulses, for example, and then herbs and spices also count towards your plant points. So one herb or spice equals a quarter of a plant point.
Okay.
And one plant, like for example lentils, would be 1 plant point. And we need to be making sure that we're getting 30 different plant points in our diet each week.
Okay.
So in order to do that, just think about how many herbs and spices are you using, how many different pulses are you using, how many fruits and vegetables are in your diet, and by that, and looking at the plant diversity and how much colour you have, that will allow you to make sure that you're getting in your plant points.
Amazing. What other spices do we have underneath there?
So we also have ground cumin and ground coriander.
Okay.
And then we have a really unique spice called baharat spice, and it's a Lebanese spice mix. And it has things like cloves and cardamom and nutmeg as well. It's really, really tasty, and I like to put it into my kebabs to enhance that flavour.
Wonderful. Sounds good already.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got some veggies there. Can see an onion.
Yeah, we have onions and garlic. I mean, I can't live without garlic. It's a staple.
Any particular reason why we've got a red onion as opposed to a brown onion?
I just prefer, purple onions. They taste sweeter for me. But again, it's very much dependent on preference.
Okay, wonderful.
Then we have coriander leaves.
Staple, right?
Yep, absolutely. And then we have some lentils, and then we have chicken mince.
Wonderful.
Now, usually we would make a kebab, for example, a chicken kebab with just the chicken mince.
Yes.
But actually, to boost up the plant points, to boost up the fibre in the dish, I'm also going to put in lentils.
Fantastic.
And that way, even for children, if, for example, you can't get in, fibre into their diet as much, just popping it into things like this, they won't taste it as much.
Yeah.
And yes, exactly.
Fantastic. So we've got the chicken mince here. It looks ready prepared. Some lovely lentils. Canned lentils, they were canned or soaked overnight?
They were canned lentils,
Okay,
yes.
there's nothing wrong with that, having them from the can.
It's convenient. What I would be mindful of is just making sure that it's in water rather than salt, because you don't need the extra salt that comes into some, canned varieties.
Yes.
So even with fruits, for example, if they're in syrup, we don't need that. It's better for it to be in water.
Okay.
But other than that, in terms of the nutritional value, it's the same. It's very like for like.
Lovely.
And it's a lot more convenient.
Yes, definitely. And our coriander there as well.
Yeah.
Can we freeze and store coriander in the fridge freezer? Is there any rule to that? Do we lose any nutrition?
Not necessarily. So I just keep it in the fridge and I put it in a container and remove it from its packaging, and it just lasts longer.
Yes, definitely. One tip that I've got for dear viewers, you can put it in a container with some kitchen towel and put an egg inside that container. The egg attracts all the moisture and takes it away from the coriander, and it lasts a little bit longer. So a little life hack for you there.
Amazing.
Garlic, again, a staple of diet. We've all got this in our kitchens. That's something that we use regularly. Sister, can we use fresh, like minced or paste or anything like that?
Yeah, that's what I usually use at home, just the paste, because again, it's easy, it's convenient, but you're still getting in those, the goodness from it.
Wonderful. We've got our red or purple onion there. There's nothing wrong with using a brown onion also. Mixture of spices. And our rapeseed oil also there. Brilliant. Okay, so where do we start? What do we do?
You are going to be my assistant chef today.
Okay, sous chef.
And
should have got me the chef's hat.
If you could just chop this onion, dice it into small pieces, and then just 3 cloves of garlic, finely chopped. Yeah.
Okay, sure, no problem. I'll get that underway right now.
Brilliant. Actually, you don't need to dice the onions so thinly because it's going to go in a blender anyway.
Okay, great. So I'll just take the skin off.
Yeah.
And then we'll blend that up, definitely.
Do you cook at home often?
Yes, I do. I really enjoy cooking. I find cooking quite therapeutic. There's something nice about taking raw ingredients and turning that into something.
Absolutely.
Quite experimental with my cooking, like different flavors and different textures and putting that all together. I like to cook different kind of foods, so go for like a stir fry option, try a lot of different veg that are in my fridge.
Yeah.
I go for sort of the traditional cuisine, but maybe like a nice curry, or I look to maybe try and cook some biryani or something like that.
Lovely.
I like my grills as well, so some good fresh meat grilled up. Use a lot of wraps and these kind of things. Alhamdulillah, I've been blessed to travel a lot as well, so I picked up a lot of tips along the way. Different flavors that come together really nicely. I think viewers, it's about not being scared of just going in the kitchen, having a go, and experimenting. Sometimes along the way, yes, you might make an odd mistake. It might not taste 100% perfect, but your next try, inshallah, will be that little bit better. So let's just get rid of this rubbish. Okay. Important point to remember about onions: sometimes they make you cry. If I just cut it into quarters, will that be good enough?
Fine.
Okay. Always keep your knife down and keep it safe and away from you.
Brilliant.
Excellent. Let's get all of that in there. We don't want any asraf at all. Wonderful. So onions themselves, do they have much benefit nutritionally?
Yeah, absolutely. They have so many vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. That's great for your health. I'm also going to pop in the lentils. Okay. And when we are blending this, we don't want to make it too mushy. Yeah. But we just want to puree it a little bit.
Okay. Brilliant. So how long would you say you would put that in the blender for?
Probably 30, 40 seconds. Okay. Just so it's blended together.
Now you said about 3 cloves, yeah? Does it matter the size?
No.
No. Okay.
This is very preference
got
related.
A couple of small. Yeah. 2 big and 1 small there.
Yeah.
All right. Brilliant. Okay, so I'm just going to chop this. It's going to go in the blender as well?
Yes.
So I'm just going to peel this and just throw them straight in. So again, be careful of your fingers while you are chopping this. Just want to get the skin off so you've got like one whole fresh clove of garlic, okay? And then we're just going to pop that straight in and I'll continue. So sister, you've got any exciting things going on throughout Ramadan? I know you're obviously doing some great work in the community.
Yeah, so I am actually going to be launching a healthy Ramadan guide, and it's called your Healthy Ramadan Guide.
Okay.
And within that, there will be tips and tricks on how to have a healthier Ramadan, to help to boost your energy levels, your concentration, your mood throughout Ramadan, and give you the information that you need to build on those healthier habits.
That's brilliant.
Within that guide as well, you'll also get inspiration, through recipes. So for iftar, for sahur, for post-iftar snacks as well, because we tend to like to nibble, especially on sweet things.
Yes.
And they are very delicious recipes. They're very energy boosting, they're gut friendly recipes. And it will just allow people to get that inspiration that they need.
Yeah.
And then within the guide as well, you also get a checklist, like a grocery list. So then during Ramadan, we are very, very busy.
Yes.
And I would just want to be able to alleviate that pressure off families. So they have the recipe bank, they have their guide, and they have that grocery list where they can just go to the supermarket and just pick up everything that they need to make that recipe for themselves and their family. And, they can focus on the more important things, which is building that connection with Allah.
Alhamdulillah, that's a great idea and a great concept that you're putting together. Where can people find that information? How can they get hold of you?
Yeah, so it can be found on my website. So if you go onto my website, they can just purchase the guide.
Fantastic.
On there.
Website address?
Yeah, it's www.sakinanutrition.com. And there will be an area where you can just purchase the guide from
Fantastic.
there.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, all the best with that, and I think it's an amazing idea. Come back to my coriander.
Yeah.
I've just cut it into random pieces.
Yes.
Is it going in the blender as
Yes,
well?
this is
So I
going
can just
into
put that in?
blender.
Okay, brilliant. Again, guys, be careful with the knives. It's quite a fun task that you can do with children, but maybe don't recommend doing the cutting with the kids. Just being mindful of your fingers.
Yeah, so we put in 1 whole onion, 3 cloves of garlic, a handful amount of coriander, and 400 grams of lentils. So it's just one tin.
Yeah.
And that will just be ready to go to pulse on the blender.
Fantastic. Let's do that now then. Thank you so much. Okay. Right. So we're just going to pulse this now for a short amount of time until it all blends together and we've got a nice soft consistency. There we go. Wonderful.
Just going to have a look at it because I don't want to. There we go.
I want to point one thing out, dear viewers. Sister Sakina was looking at the mixture as it was going around, just checking its consistency, just being mindful of it, and then she just stopped it to give it a check just to make sure it's correct. How does that? Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Have a smell of that. It smells so fresh.
Oh wow! You're getting coriander. You can get the scent of the onions in there. You can get the garlic, which is just it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I can't wait to taste this. It's going to be amazing.
We don't want to pure it so much. We just want to make sure it's mixed together and it's cut up quite finely.
Yeah, definitely. If we look at that, that's a really quite pulsy. If you look at it, you can see the lentils are still quite whole, but it's all binded together and all mixed very well. Okay.
Okay, brilliant. So now what we're going to do is just take off the blade. We just need to be careful of that.
Shall I take that from you?
Yeah.
Okay, mind your fingers. We get that back in there. We don't want any asraf there.
And then what we're going to do is just pop this into the chicken mince.
You put that inside the chicken mince now, okay? Brilliant.
So there's around 350 grams of chicken mince over here.
Okay. How many kebabs would you say that would make?
So it depends on the patty size itself.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say we can get a good 12 out of here.
12? A dozen? Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's good.
We might need a bigger bowl.
Okay, let me just grab one for us. This one will be okay?
Yeah,
Yeah,
brilliant.
brilliant. Okay.
So we just pop that in there.
Yep. If I hold that.
Yeah.
Yep. So we can get all that mixture in there, that lovely flavour.
Look at that.
Yeah, it looks amazing. And the smell, viewers, it's so good. It smells so fresh.
Oh.
Is this the fun bit? Is this where we get our hands in?
Yeah,
Okay.
so do you want to wear your
Yes,
gloves?
let's get some gloves on there.
And this is where I'm going to put the spices in as well.
Okay.
So for the Baharat mix, I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons worth.
2 tablespoons.
Yeah. Pop that in.
Oh, you can smell that. It's
Yeah.
it said it's got cloves in there as well.
Yeah, and nutmeg, and it smells very fresh.
Yeah, you get the waft of it on the air.
Yeah. And then I'm going to put in a tablespoon of garam masala.
Garam masala, okay. So garam masala has a bit of a kick to it. Can we adjust that down if it's too much? Yeah.
Yeah. So we can put in half a tablespoon.
Just half, okay.
If you don't want that kick. For me, I love that.
Yeah.
Then we have half a tablespoon of cumin.
Cumin in there as well, so ground cumin.
And then half a tablespoon of coriander.
Chili powder?
Chili powder.
Chili
sorry.
powder, lovely.
Yeah. So how much chili do you want me to put in?
Well, I'm quite partial to a bit of chili, but don't go too crazy.
Right, let's put in round about.
Lovely. So what would you reckon? Half a teaspoon?
Of chili?
Yeah.
But again, this is very much preference related.
Yeah.
If you don't want chili and you want to skip that step, then absolutely.
Wonderful. So our mix is looking really good. When we look at that, all the spices are on there. Quite hefty amount of spice in there as well. Now, we didn't put any salt in. Is there any reason for that? Or are we going to put some in now?
So we're going to put some in now because
Okay,
I forgot
brilliant.
to put some in.
So we look at the salt.
Yeah,
We're putting just
but again, a very little amount.
So less than the chili powder that we put in. So it's probably, I would say, approximately a quarter of a tablespoon.
Yeah.
Remember, did you say it was 6 grams of salt?
Yes, per day is the maximum allowance.
Right.
It just helps enhance the flavour if you want it.
Wonderful.
But sometimes with the amount of spices that we use sometimes in our dishes, we don't need to put in that much salt in.
Sure.
In my curries, for example, I hardly put salt in. I just boost it up with the spices in it. Yeah.
Great. Okay, next step.
Brilliant. So all we need to do now is just mix.
Just get my hands in there?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Okay, this is the fun part. This is something you can get your children to do, get them involved. This is very, very fun. Okay, just give it a good old stir. Get your hands in there. Sort of just mold it. Get all the mixture around. Really, really, dig in. Quite therapeutic as well, You want to burn a few calories during Ramadan. Get some movement going. Maybe you're an office worker, you're stuck at your desk. This is something that you can sort of maneuver around as well.
Absolutely.
Now you can really smell this.
Yeah.
As I'm doing it, it just, I'm getting wafts of the beauty of this freshness, and even the spices are starting to come out. Okay.
It's very fresh. And whilst you do that, what I'm going to do is going to start putting some oil onto this tray.
Brilliant. I'll give you a bit of room there.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll carry on.
So it's literally a tablespoon of oil.
Mm-hmm. Now you said this is rapeseed oil, so this is something that is a good oil, saturated, unsaturated. There we go.
Exactly, and this is the sort of oil that you do want to use on a sort of a regular basis.
Yes.
The unsaturated fats. And the saturated is something that you just need to be more mindful of. It doesn't mean that you can't use it. Because I am a nutritionist that believes in balance.
Yes.
It's not about, restriction, but it's just being mindful of what different foods do in your body.
That's one thing I'm picking up throughout this series, is that moderation is something really key, and balance. Everything has its little place, so it's okay to have that little bit extra every now and then, but not indulging in it. And something you said to me was looking at your diet more on a weekly basis rather than a daily basis?
Yes, exactly. So, you know, a lot of my clients that I work with, you know, when they first come to me, they're like, oh, my diet's quite bad. But when we analyze it, it's not bad. Yes, incorporating things that, the foods that are high in salt and sugar and fat more often than they should.
Right.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to be completely removed from your diet. It just means that you need to be mindful of how much you're consuming and taking a step back and zooming out and looking at your diet as a whole will be a better indication rather than just on isolation, be like, oh gosh, I had pizza, you know, for lunch, for example, with some barbecue chicken wings. You know, it's fine, but you just need to zoom
with a bit
out.
of pizza.
Exactly, you need to just zoom out.
Brilliant. Okay, so I think I've mixed this well. Can you just have a quick look at that?
Yes, brilliant.
All right, fantastic. So viewers, look, we want this kind of consistency. When we look at it, it's just got a good mix there. The mince now has become sort of at one with all the spices and the coriander, the garlic. It's all there. It's quite, you know, soft but chunky on the hands. What's our next step?
So we just need to make them into small balls.
Small balls.
And just make it into a patty, just flatten it out a little bit.
Okay, so kind of burger kind of shape, would you say?
Yeah.
Now, I've got that picked up that much. Is that enough?
That's fine.
So that's about my palm size worth of mixture there. And then I'm just going to blend that together and then squash it down.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Because they've also become they shrink a little bit in the oven as well.
Okay.
So we don't want them too small.
Right, so squash that down.
Brilliant.
Maybe about 1/4 inch, probably there. How's that looking?
Yeah,
Do we need to be worrying about the shape?
A little bit, but that's fine. It's more about the aesthetics. You can put it down.
Just put it down there.
Yeah.
Straight flat onto the mixture. There we go. Wonderful. All right, I'll let you take over. I'll carry on making these little patties. So, sister, you know, as we're doing this, how did you get into nutrition? It's quite a niche thing, which you don't really see too many nutritionists in our community.
Yeah. So I was interested in health and nutrition from a very young age. I was always fascinated about how food plays a huge role in someone's well-being, in a positive way and sometimes in a negative way as well. So I knew I wanted to get into a career where I was helping people with their health, but more importantly through the nutrition side of things. And the food aspect of it, because it has a huge influence, right? What we eat. I'm just going to wrap this up a little bit
no
more.
problem. That's great. So yeah, I mean, that interest, that spark that you had at a young age, you just want to help people through their well-being. Food can play so much a part of your mood.
Yeah.
You know, you are what you eat, if you like.
Absolutely. And, you know, mood and energy levels and concentration and just general day-to-day, you know, functions in our body is influenced by food. So we have to be mindful of it. And food and mood is a huge thing.
Yes.
You know, how much sugar we consume, for example.
Yes, definitely.
You know, and forget like the nutrition point of view, how much exercise we get in can also affect our mood.
Yes, definitely. Why do you know, during the blessed month of Shah Ramadan, we tend to be quite habitual in what we're eating. So we know what we like. We crave that, maybe that fried chicken or that biryani or whatever it is that we want. And it's kind of habitual. Why are we not thinking about the month of Ramadan in a way of us just detoxing from, you know, these kind of habits that we have?
Yeah. I think it's it's very cultural based as well. You know, we look forward to food because obviously we're fasting during the day.
Yes.
But I think we just need to bring it back to why we're fasting.
Okay, so food is a big part in our moods and in you know, culture. I guess we look forward to having something to eat at the end of the day. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think we just need to bring it back to why we're fasting. And food is a huge part of it, but making sure that we are not overindulging all the time during Ramadan is really important. Bringing it back to our hunger cues. And there's a big psychological element of this. Sometimes when we are really hungry, we tend to, you know, put the food quite high on our plate, right? Pile it quite high.
Yes.
But actually bringing it back to just thinking about our normal portion sizes, how much we actually need, as opposed to how much we want.
Yes.
And that's should be a big indicator during the month of Ramadan to sort of bring it back and, you know, reflect on what you're eating and how you're feeling your body.
It's a good opportunity for us to reset and to rethink. You know, it's a blessed month for us in so many ways, and it gives us the opportunity to just stop and think about so many aspects of our life, and food plays a big role. So what we're putting in is what we're getting out, and that's, you know, the same thing for mindset. So food is something that we can literally think and focus on as well. You know, when we're fasting, sister, our stomach shrinks, yeah? So we break our fast with like iftar. Maybe it might be just a small iftar, maybe some soup or something.
Yeah.
And then a few hours later, we're inclined to have that big meal. You know, as you said, we pile our plates up. We're not even hungry at that point.
Yeah.
Any tips there, what we can do to kind of stop ourselves from breaking that quite unhealthy habit?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we are going to be stretched for
space.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I've got one more here.
You know, thinking about, for example, when you are breaking your fast, breaking it with, you know, dates.
Yes.
Will give you the energy. And then incorporating, for example, like a hearty foods, so your soups or your salads to start off with, and then going for the main meal. Because what that will do is start opening up your stomach a little bit more and just, you know, allowing you to feel fuller rather than overindulging.
Yes.
And then being mindful of the hunger cues, like I said, like where are you on the hunger scale? When you're breaking your fast, where are you when you're having your starter? Where are you when you're entering your main meal? So are you on a 4 on the hunger scale? Are you a 10, which is like completely full? Like what are you?
Yeah.
And that will allow you to identify, you know, internally where you are, and then that will allow you to be more mindful of your choices and not overindulge.
Amazing. So now we have an empty bowl,
Yeah.
and we've got a full pan. Alhamdulillah.
Brilliant.
We've created our kebabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We were just one short. Again, I'm just going to say to you viewers, you know, we're making these live here, and the smell is amazing. I can't even just imagining what they taste like. It's going to be phenomenal. So our next step now, dear sister, I noticed that you've preheated the oven.
Yeah.
Okay. So what temperatures are we putting that on?
200.
Okay.
And these will cook for around half an hour.
Okay.
And it depends on obviously how powerful your oven is. It might be half an hour to 40 minutes.
Yes.
And you'll be able to tell when they're done because it'll be brown at the top. It'll be quite crispy as well.
Lovely. Do we need to turn them over or anything in the cooking process?
Yeah, so you can turn them over halfway through. So then they can cook on the other side evenly as well.
Wonderful. Should we get these in?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. I'm just going to remove my gloves so I can give you a hand there. There we go. Okay. So we're putting on a temperature of 200 there for about half an hour. This is a fan assisted oven, and about halfway through we're going to turn them over, just check them, make sure they're cooking properly.
Yeah.
Fantastic, great. So we will be back in half an hour with our lovely chicken kebabs, which are oven baked, healthy and nutritious. Okay, so our kebabs are now ready.
Yeah.
They smell delicious. I'll just put this down here in preparation.
Take them out.
Oh gosh, look at that steam coming off them. Mashallah. Woof. Sister Sukaina, that's a treat. Wow. I'm so impressed that, you know, we've made those with our own hands and they're so nutritious. They smell incredible.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you wanna have a bite?
Yep, I think
put them down.
Put them down there first. So what we did, guys, just to remind you, we put that into the oven 200 degrees for half an hour. At the 15-minute mark, just around about, we took them out, flipped them over so they, you know, they're golden and crispy on each side.
Look at that.
Look really good. They look really, really good. Just move that, give you a bit more space. Okay. We've got some raita, some dip as well, which was pre-made from a jar. Can purchase that in any kind of supermarket.
Yeah, I would be mindful of how much salt is within the writer as well.
Okay.
So when you're looking at the food labels, just check to see whether it has red, amber, or green in any of the nutrients. So, for example, on salt, if it's on amber, that's okay. If it's on red, try to find another brand.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. That's great. So that's a nice little condiment to go with it. Anything else that we could potentially have with that?
You can have it with plain yogurt as well. You know, people all. There's also, gosh, I've lost the English word of it, but kachumber.
Kachumber. Cucumbers.
Yes.
Yeah, like
yeah. So with like tomatoes and onions.
bit of lemon juice.
Yeah, exactly.
Lovely. Yeah. Sprinkle any coriander or anything on that as well?
Yes, exactly. You could. Yeah.
Great. Okay, that sounds good. What's next?
You can dive straight in.
Here we go. Okay, viewers, I'm going to go for this. They look really hot, but I'm going to try one. They look amazing. As you can see, that golden color that's on them, and rich in flavor. They feel quite dense. They feel quite, but light as well as you break into one. Okay,
Yeah.
try it with some of this writer. Bismillah, would you like?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. That is delicious. So really dense to kind of touch. You know, when I was holding them, but breaking it, they're quite light in the mouth, and you can feel the goodness. You can feel the lentils in there. You can feel the textures, and the flavors are absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Much healthier, an easier way to kind of eat kebab. You could have this served with some brown rice, maybe some brown pita bread, that kind of thing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So exactly, this can be your protein source. You can have some veg in it. So kachumber or would be great because you have all the veg in there.
Yes.
Plus, then you can get whole grain rice or a whole grain pita, and you're good to go.
Amazing. Sister Sakina, that's been another amazing recipe for us, making our Ramadan supercharged through nutrition. Thank you so much. Dear viewers, we'll see you on another episode, inshallah, in the coming days. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.